Well, it was about 2 years ago. I was at the Toronto Auto Show and I saw this new type of camper. It was neat. You can go out in the bush, but it wasn't just going into the bush that was cool about it. It's the fact that it was able to traverse on a standard quad trail and yet still fit two people comfortably in to go out into the bush and go camping in. And I thought to myself, this is an amazing vehicle. This is just all out a weekend adventure. This is fun. This is a vehicle dedicated and built for one singular purpose. It's built for the enjoyment of life. It was an all-out fun vehicle. It doesn't matter its electric powertrain might keep it from being way too much fun, or the fact that it's a little too tippy when you're in specific areas, and it's not really destined for road life. It's built for a singular purpose. And in all reality, there's a lot of vehicles out there that are just built for you to go and have all-out fun in. And that is what we're going to be talking about today on the AutoLooks Podcast. Welcome back to the AutoLooks Podcast. I am your host, as always, the doctor to the automotive industry, Mr. Everett J, coming to you from our host website at AutoLooks.net. If you haven't been there, stop by, check it out, read some of the reviews, check out some of the ratings, go to the Corporate Links website page. Big or small, we have them all. Car companies from around the globe, separated in alphabetical order and country order, along with specific variations. Oh yeah, you're looking for your corporate links for corporate owners of car companies, technology companies, dealers, RVs, tractors. They're there, and they're on the AutoLooks.net website, all on the corporate websites page. The AutoLooks Podcast is brought to you by Ecom Entertainment Group and distributed by Podbeam.com. If you'd like to get in touch with us, send us an email over at email@AutoLooks.net. So like I said in the beginning, the little motorhome I'm talking about is actually developed in New Brunswick, of all places, in Canada, in the province of New Brunswick. But when you go to the east coast of Canada, essentially, next to Ontario, New Brunswick is the next automotive province of our entire country. There are more racetracks, there's been more car development, and more car built there than pretty much any other province you could think of. New Brunswick is a powerhouse when it comes to cars, and loving cars and Potential Motors is a brand new product that's going to take you into the bush, and not just into the bush. It's going to take you there in comfort because it's made for you and one other person to go way out into the bush in. You can go camp anywhere. It comes with a kitchen inside of it, even has a little carryover so you can actually, have a little essentially makeshift washroom attached to it. So you still got to do your business out in the bush, but hey, you can still cook, sleep, and get around inside the Potential Motors Adventure. This is a dedicated vehicle built for one solid purpose, for fun. And fun vehicles have been around since the advent of the automobile. Hell, the original inception of the automobile was something joyful and fun for rich tycoons to go out and do. It's so they didn't have to use a horse, and they can go wherever they wanted by controlling whatever they wanted. They could do it easier. They could do it more nimble. The car let us explore the world in a way we never could have before. But as the automobile age came upon us, our need for more fun was there. Sure, we started getting sports cars and started going racing to have more fun, but we still needed to go out and see the world and have fun in it. And eventually, people would start building vehicles for that dedication. The Stout Scarab, one of the original minivans, was built for the purpose of hauling a family comfortably out into the wilderness. The original Bantam Jeep was built to take the military anywhere in the world. And as we talked about in our podcast called Jeep World, and the fact that there's so many competitors and so many knockoffs of the Jeep around the globe, everybody seems to have wanted that same type of fun for their home country. Jeep is essentially one of the vehicles that started the movement of dedicated fun vehicles. We all like dedicated fun vehicles, but not all of us can afford a dedicated fun vehicle. By the 1950s and into the early 60s, the ability to have an extra vehicle in your driveway was just starting to come upon us. And that is when the rise of dedicated fun vehicles came from. The Amphicar, one of the first dedicated all-in fun vehicles, came out. Hell, it's a car that you can wade across a river or a lake in. It was a boat, it was a car. It didn't serve any other purpose except to be able to go across water. Really, when you think about it, it seats 4 people, it's a convertible, there's not a ton of storage space, there'd be tons of maintenance on on top of your regular automotive maintenance. So it's not something that, the lighthearted fans can actually go out and buy. It's not something that your average Joe would want to get because of all of the added expenses. But it was a fun vehicle. And this was a time where people were looking for fun vehicles. Hell, the Mustang was part of that original fun atmosphere. But it was built to get the young crowd into the Ford Motor Company. It wasn't a dedicated, all-out fun vehicle. No, it wasn't built like the Locomotors Rally Fighter. Essentially, a dedicated off-road sand dune racer. Sound familiar? Kind of like the Lamborghini LM002 that they originally built for the Italian military. When they lost the contract, they sold the truck. One of the fastest accelerating trucks of all time. The box of it served no purpose whatsoever. Hell, you would never want to store anything in there. It was kind of like the Lincoln Blackwood pickup truck when they brought it out. The box served no purpose. It was essentially a storage compartment for people to get around and have fun in. And in all reality, that's all it really was. It was made to have fun in. But Lamborghini needed to make their money back, so that's why they sold it. The Locomotors Rally Fighter served that exact same purpose. A two-seater active sports car. It can be made to go off-road as fast as possible. We can already do this in our own pickup trucks, or hell, even just drop a V8 underneath the hood of your Wrangler. Anybody can build it in their own home. But this was a vehicle that was actually developed for this sole purpose. Kind of like how KTM created the Expo for the sole purpose of open-air enjoyment, similar to that of the original Ariel Atom and the follow-up, the Bach Mono. These are track-based vehicles. They were made for just having fun. That is it. That's all their purpose is. A dedicated, fun vehicle. And there's tons and tons of them out there. Like I said, in the 1960s, people started looking at having fun outside of their home. And they wanted dedicated vehicles to go and do this. The Jeep Jeepster Commando, the Jeep Cherokee to go further into the bush. Hell, Ferrari had the GTC4 beach car. And a man decided to take a Volkswagen Beetle and turn it into one of the greatest things of all time. The Myers Manx. A dedicated dune buggy. Oh yeah. Dune buggies were something that people thought of, and some people built on their own. But this was a dedicated fiberglass shell, only situated for two people to go out and just drive around on the beach. Really, it had no other purpose. Its purpose was just for having fun. You can actually say that about any sports car out there, but sports cars do serve a direct purpose. They're fun and functional. Where all-out fun vehicles are fun, that's it. They're not the most functional things that you can ever find. Hell, would you drive a Ripsaw EV3 to work? If you don't know what that is, I'll give you a minute to go and find it. I'll give you a hint. Fast and Furious 8 shows up during the sub scene where they're all driving away. That's that cool thing with the tank gun on the top of it, the Ripsaw. You can't actually buy it with a tank gun on the top, but they do make them for military purposes. The Ripsaw is a dedicated fun vehicle. You can actually buy them for personal use, similar to that of the Shirt. They're built for a direct purpose. Then the Ripsaw's purpose is for literally just balling out in the middle of the bush. You can just go straight in, fly through, and go as fast as you want. You can get from here to there as fast as you want through the middle of the bush. These things were literally built for the military so the military can do covert ops and get in and out as quick as possible. And because of their small footprint, they could do it so easily. But now you can buy it for your own personal use. Kind of like the original Hummer H1. It was built for a direct purpose, for military consignment. And now we can buy it for all-out fun. Why else would you buy a Ripsaw EV3? You're not going to drive this thing to work. Well, I probably would, but that's a little different than me. Some people will go out and use these all-out fun vehicles. How many people do you see in Great Britain driving around on an Ariel Atom to go to work? I'll go online, go on Google, and actually just search Ariel Atom Darth Vader. There's an actual guy that had a Darth Vader helmet built just so he could drive around as Ariel Atom dressed up as Darth Vader. It was great. An amazing thing to see. It's like, that is so cool. That would blow my mind if it drove past me on the road. But what is the purpose of an Ariel Atom? It's a tubular frame with a freaking Honda Civic engine in it. It's not powerful. It's not the world's greatest track car. It's open air fun. You literally buy it to have fun. That's it. And it's not functional as a daily driver. See, that's where the misconception comes in. There's lots of fun vehicles out there, but they're fun and functional, where these are just all out fun vehicles. Now I have a friend that has a first generation Ford Raptor. Now, that's a vehicle he bought just for having fun, but he still drives it when he goes back home to see his family. He goes flying through back roads. It's great. It's fun. It handles amazingly. He uses it for the dedicated purpose that vehicle was built for, to go as fast as possible on the back roads. Okay, so that's fun and functional. The Ariel Atom is essentially just a go-kart That's all it really is. It's a go-kart. The Nomad is the off-road variation of the Atom. The Nomad can go off into the backwoods. There is no dedicated purpose for it whatsoever. It's for you and one other purpose. It's similar to that of a two-seater side-by-side. You know, like the Razors, where you only get 2 seats, there's no storage compartment or whatever, anything else. They're basically just built for fun out in the road. ATVs, all-terrain vehicles, are what we all think of when we think all-out fun vehicle. And that's fun, right? A dirt bike, a quad, a side-by-side. ATVs, they're fun. But no, there are vehicles like that for the road. We're built for that. Gibbs Technology is one of those companies, and they've built the Quada and the Quadski. The Quada is the new variation of the Amphicar, and the Quadski is a quad that turns into a Sea-Doo. Dual purpose. Now, how is that for fun? Everybody talks about all the fun that they want to have and go out and have fun. Hell, I got a tiny little pocket rocket I can go out and have fun with. But it's also functional as well because there's 4 seats in it. If I go out and buy a Lamborghini Huracan, there's only 2 seats. It's built for me to go back and forth to work in. It's fun, but it serves an alternative purpose because it falls into the Grand Touring sports market. It also serves the purpose of entry level into the Lamborghini chain and gives me a fun ride with a small ability of bringing things that when I go out. If I go out and I want some snacks, I could stop at the dollar store and grab some snacks in my Lamborghini. Sure, I could do that with an Ariel Atom, but I have to put it on the seat. Same with the Dune Buggy. Same with the Hume Can-Am. These are all vehicles. I would literally have to dump this stuff onto the seat. It can go flying around and I can lose it because the dedication of these all-out fun vehicles is built for that singular purpose. When the Resvani Beast was showcased to the market, we all saw it and thought it was an amazing, cool thing. Oh, it's just another speedster. Well, speedsters are essentially all-out fun vehicles because a convertible is a functional product for anyone to purchase and drive. Where something like a Lamborghini Aventador J is a speedster. There is no windscreen on it. They're built for the dedicated people just to go out and have fun. This is the thing you bring out on a Saturday afternoon when the sun's out, it's hot, it's nice, and you just want to go fly around a back road. All out fun. It was built for that singular purpose. Like we said, the Ripsaw is there. The Zeal Fat Truck and the Sherp are there as well. They were built for getting you into the bush further, to go further than you could on a side-by-side. Your Mahindra Roxor can get you far into the bush. Your Ripsaw can get you even further into the bush. But your Sherp and Fat Truck can go all the way into the bush. These are dedicated, all-out fun vehicles built for the sole purpose of exploration. That is what the original inception of the automobile was for us to go out and explore the world. Not every all-out fun vehicle is built for that purpose. Some are built to just go as fast as possible. Some of them are made for you to have the wind in your hair. Some of them are made for ease of access at the beach. And others are made to go as far into the bush as possible. Either fully comfortable, like the Potential Motors Adventure, or just to make it all the way there, like the Zeal Motors Fat Truck. These are vehicles that had their purpose set in stone the day they came out to the market. These vehicles were only going to serve this one purpose to humanity. Seriously, when you go out and you look at something like a Fiat Topolino now, or the Citroen ME, what other purpose do they serve besides being a city runabout? Well, they also serve the purpose for underage drivers to actually be able to drive them because they're slowly powered, that somebody as young as 13 has the ability to drive them in select countries. That is a cool thing to know. But that's kind of like the Savage rival Coast Runner as well. Tiny little electric vehicles that go slow enough for anybody to drive them and get you from point A to point B. There's been vehicles like this in European marketplaces for decades. Tiny little underpowered vehicles. Vehicles that barely even reach 40 kilometers an hour. As long as your feet can touch the wheels, you can drive them on city roads. And they built these for people just to go from here to there. And that's it. Well, Citroen saw this with the ME and they created the ME buggy variation because not everybody has a pavement or cobblestone road near them. Some people live out in the bush. Some people have dirt trails and gravel driveways. Well, you need a little bit more traction and you need a little bit more stability. Citroen saw this and said, we're going to create the ME for the city and the ME for the bush. We're not talking about taking this thing rock climbing. No. If you want to do that, you could do that with your quad ski. You could do that with Resvani tank. You could do that with your Sherp, okay? You can go way out in the middle of the bush and do that. With the ME and the Topolino, no, they're just to get you from point A to point B. That's all they're made for. Some vehicles are made to do that in style and speed. Fornaciari is one of the amazing car companies from Italy. They build select vehicles. They have a racing buggy. They have a beach-going crossover utility vehicle. They even have performance CUV as well. But all their vehicles only serve one select purpose. And only one person's going to go out and buy them. That's the thing. These all-out fun vehicles, the designers, when they're creating them, are thinking of one specific person in mind who's going to buy them. It's like when you go out and you're buying running shoes. There's a million different types of running shoes. But in one select area, you'll have one that are just dedicated for very specific purposes. Well, you're running and you weigh about 200 pounds, but you're not an avid runner. You're not going to go out and buy the most expensive shoe. But then you get the guy that's going out and running a marathon all the time. He's not paying $20 for a pair of sneakers. He's buying those dedicated Nikes that are made specifically for doing marathons. Like I said, if you're going hunting out in the middle of the bush, I'm not bringing my F-150 into the back bush. No, I'm going to bring it to the end of a trail. Then I'm going to unload my Mahindra Roxor or even my Potential Motors Adventure, and I'm going to go drive out in the middle of the bush, go hunting, and come back. I'm going to use a dedicated vehicle to get me there. Something that has sole purpose, a singular sole purpose. And that is an amazing thing that's actually happening to the automobile industry right now, is even though we have lost the fun in going fast on the roads with sports cars, coupes, and even convertibles, nobody wants to do that anymore. It seems like the all-out fun vehicles of today are more of about adventures into the wilderness. Products like the Bollinger B1 and B2, the Mahindra Roxor, the Vanderhall Brawley, the Myers Manx EV, how the Overland Explorer and the ProDrive Hunter, dedicated vehicles for going further into the bush and getting there a lot faster. These are not things that your average consumer is going to go out and say, hey, I occasionally got to go out to my camp and I want to get there faster. It's like, okay, get yourself like, I don't know, RAV4, Toyota Venza, I don't know. Just get a CUV, general equation of anything. For myself, if I had the money for it, when I go to camp, when I'm going back into town, I would get myself like a Vanderhall Brawley, a little dedicated back road fun vehicle. Just prop me and one of my kids in and go fly into town, pick up some groceries, come back. It serves its purpose. It only gets used at camp. It's similar to all your toys, your snow machine, your boat, your Sea-Doo, your quad, your dirt bike. Hell, even in the summertime, your motorcycle and street bike. They all serve one dedicated purpose. And that purpose is to go out and have fun. It may seem kind of odd that there are companies that build all-out fun vehicles that only serve one purpose. Hell, some of these car companies don't even exist anymore. The Locomotives Rally Fighter was an amazing product and dedicated to one specific genre of the marketplace. Unfortunately, some of the bigger players got into that marketplace, and the little guy is the one that gets killed off first. Locomotives may have created the marketplace, but due to their price point and a lack of retail sales, they really can't compete when somebody like Porsche and Lamborghini get into the active sports car market. Similar to how Campania built the market for three-wheeled motorcycles, and then Polaris comes in with the Slingshot and essentially just throws them under the bus. The Slingshot was built for that purpose. It was built for having fun. It's not something you drive to work in. Same with the Campania. Those T-Rexes were built for fun and built for going out into the urban wilderness. Oh yeah, you didn't buy one to drive it everywhere. It's kind of like high-end supercars. Nobody buys the brand new Ferrari F80 to take it out and drive it to work every single day. No, they buy it as an investment. And that's the problem with the supercar industry. Something like a Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren Sterling Moss. Now that is not something that everybody is looking for and everybody wants. The Aventador J as well. It may change hands and may make money for people, but the person who's going to buy it knows its purpose and knows why they're getting it. Why do we need all-out fun vehicles? Why do we need companies like Bowler and Rinspeed to bring dedicated vehicles that serve a select purpose? Because there's always a market for the person who wants to be different. Like I said, when I saw the Potential Motors Adventure, I looked at it and I fell in love. And I said to myself, if I can afford to get one of those, just for my wife and I on weekends to go away, I would. That would be my extra fun vehicle. A dedicated, all-out fun product that only serves my one purpose of going out and camping. That's it. But what else do I need it for? If you're buying a vehicle only to get around and do select chores, buy anything, really. As as long as you can fit whatever you need into it, that's what you need it for. All vehicles serve a purpose, but the all-out fun vehicles serve a select purpose. And that is what we need to remember. There are consumers out there who will purchase that. Just like there are consumers out there who listen to death metal, who listen to gangster rap, who listen to jazz and the blues. You may think they're not the biggest genres in the music industry, but guess what? Somebody listens to it. Myself personally, I listen to all of them because I like to listen to all kinds of genres of music. But that's not the main point here. The point is that there's somebody who listens, kind of like there's somebody who's going to purchase this. These all-out fun vehicles are made for you and me, but only when we want them. So have you ever owned an all-out fun vehicle or known somebody that did? You have that, that crazy uncle that had a dune buggy, and every time you came over, dune buggies! No one? I don't know if anyone's seen the old show Titus. Yeah, that's a line from that show. Go back and watch it. It's kind of funny. Have you yourself owned one, or friends, family, know of anybody, coworkers? If they have, send this podcast out. Tell them about it and say, hey, I noticed you had, Myers Max sitting in your garage. What's the story behind that? I want to hear a little bit more about it. Sending the podcast out gets people talking and gets people communicating with each other about their automotive culture and the things that they love. That's what the AutoLooks.net website and the AutoLooks podcast is here for, to bring the automotive world together and create the stories for the automotive world. So send it to your friends, send it to your family, and ask them, hey, what all-in-fun vehicle would you love to have? A dedicated fun product. Would you go out buy a Potential Motors Adventure? Would you buy the Bowler EXR? Or hell, would you just get a Gibbs quad ski? Come on, everybody has their choice. Not everybody can afford their choice, but everybody has one. And if you don't, well, then you really just don't like cars and understand why you're listening to the podcast, because, well, maybe you like my voice. You never know, right? So after that, click the like button at the bottom, like, follow, and share this podcast with everybody you know from all the streaming sites and social media sites that you found us on. The AutoLooks Podcast is there for you to find us and there for you to share with the world around you. And after that, stop by the website, read some of the reviews, check out some of the ratings, go to the Corporate Links website page, read some of our kids' books, find auto shows from around the globe. They're all there on the AutoLooks.net website. I don't know how many times I have to say this. Stop by, give it a read through, and check out some of the coolest automotive stuff you can find on the internet, all available from our host website, the AutoLooks.net website. The AutoLooks Podcast is brought to you by Ecom Entertainment Group and distributed by Podbeam.com. If you'd like to get in touch with us, send us an email over at email@autolooks.net. So for myself, Everett J., the AutoLooks team here, strap yourself in for this one fun, wild ride that these all-out fun vehicles are gonna give us. Oh yeah.